Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sean, this is the Game Room, and we are continuing with our 6mm Starship Troopers. Today we're going to paint a Arachnid Swarm, and these, you're going to need a few of these. You need at least, I think you need 12. So you're going to need to print them up. I believe these came from Emporium, and it's part of the the Voidship Troopers, and then they have their bugs also, and these are great models. But like I said, you're gonna need a bunch of them. So let me show you how I quickly paint these up, and they look pretty cool. So again, we're going with a few colors only, minimal colors. I haven't done the edge of the base yet, but you can paint that whatever color you want. But I mean, you know, for a quick job, they're not bad. They look pretty good. And I'm going to show you how I do this little red streak on their back and how you get it to look like it's multi-toned. Okay, here's what we start with. Once you pull these guys off the printer, you'll see that basically it is just a swarm. It's just a lot of bugs. And for this, you're going to brand it black. And then directly from the top, I hit it with a light gray, just a mist, just to help. If it's all solid black, number one, it's kind of hard to see the detail when you're painting it. The gray gives it just enough to highlight some of it. But also because you don't want it to just be solid black, you want it to have a little bit of a shine. If you watch the movie, you kind of see that they're black, but they're not totally black. I'm not going to go to town on the detail because, one, you need a bunch of these. Two, we're trying to do it quick. 3, it looks like an Arachnid Swarm. Anybody looking at that is going to say that's an Arachnid Swarm. Okay, so colors we're going to use. For the base, Desert Yellow. Then we're going to use Demonic Yellow, Lava Orange, and then Carmine Dragon. Okay, so to start with, we're going to do Desert Yellow, and we're going to paint, basically this is just for the base under the sand. So if you're going to use a different color for your sand, or you want the underneath your sand, that's what I'm going to do with this. So give me just a second. Okay, and for this, I'm just using an old brush, watered down the Desert Yellow just a touch, and all I'm doing is just going to get it on the base. Because when you get underneath your sand, when you put it down your sand, in case your sand comes off, anything like that, you'll have a color underneath it. It also lightens the sand up. If it's solid black under it, you can actually see the darkness underneath the sand. So if you want it to be a little lighter, then just a quick base coat of a similar sand type color works really, really well. Don't have to be super neat. So I'm telling you all this completely off the camera. My apologies. It's kind of, if you watch my videos, I do apologize. I am truly a one-man show, so I start painting and my hands move and I don't realize that it's off the screen. So again, I apologize, but back on the screen now. Now, if you look closely underneath the bugs, you can see that there is actually a bug mound that they're on. You can paint that if you want. I just left it black. I did paint it for one of them and really didn't notice it once I got everything else done and I looked at it from 3 feet away. It didn't really notice, so I was just like, again, I'm going for speed. I want to get these done. If you want to, you do you put as much detail into these guys as you want. That's totally up to you. I'm just going for speed. I want them to look cool from 3 feet away, and that is the goal. Okay, so while we're gonna let that dry, next thing we're gonna use our Demonic Yellow. And for the Demonic Yellow, I'm actually using a very small brush. This is a Ghost Tiny D. And the reason for that is because I only want a very thin line down the back of the bugs. So if you look closely, what I want is from the back of his head, just want to draw just a thin line. That, and then from his abdomen, again, just down. Doesn't have to be straight. In fact, it looks more natural if it's not straight. And they're not all uniform. But we're going to do this for every bug that you can see. And what this will do is, I mean, not only is it's just distinguishing the bugs, but when you go over it later with the orange and the red, this is what's going to give it that shading that looks like it's, you know, it's brighter red in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, they're bugs. There's another guy down here. And do a quick check. I think we got them all. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So now, continuing with the yellow. So on the bugs, I'll put the picture up again. They kind of have triangles around their mouths. You can do it however you want. But as you can kind of see based off of pictures that I've seen, you know, just to kind of, you know, break it up a little bit. Triangles are hard to do when it's, you know, you're doing really tiny, but do the best you can. Whatever it is, you're just trying to help distinguish the bugs. So the way I'm doing it is I'll start at the edge right here and then just draw a triangle. And if you can get it on both sides, great. If you can't, like, there's an arm blocking the bottom of that mouth, so I'm not even going to bother. Now remember, they're all unique bugs, so it shouldn't be uniform. They don't all want to have the same, you know, markings, patterns. So vary it up. Do whatever makes you happy. They are your models. I'm just showing you how I'm doing mine. So alright, and then don't forget to go back on the other side. And this, I would try to at least match it up as much as possible. Okay. Okay, next we're going to go with the lava orange. And this, you don't have to be nearly as neat, so I'm going to use a little larger brush. I'm going to use the Ghost Zero. That's the brush I'm using. And now for this, you're just going to go right over that yellow and a little over the black. Again, doesn't have to be super neat. But this is only on the back, and it's at the abdomen and the head. Not going to cover the mouth because that needs to stay yellow. Now, you don't I think you can do the red on top of the yellow if you want the lines to be a little brighter. I don't think you really need to do the orange unless you just want, like mine, where it kind of looks three-tone versus all, just one bright spot and then dark spots around it. So, last thing is the Carmine Dragon. This is a speed paint, so this is going to go kind of, it'll flow a little more, but this is what we're after. I'm going to run that right down. Oh, too much there. And all we're doing here is we're just covering up that orange. Just running that. Now the black will help absorb some of that extra red. And most of the red you're going to see is only going to be what's on top of the orange and yellow. But the top of the carapace will, once it dries, it will have a tinge of red to it. And then you'll have that bright streak running down the middle. So with that, you're basically done painting. Now it's just basing and putting whatever you want. On these I did sand, and then I hit the sand with strong tone, about 60-40 water, and it doesn't take a whole lot because when you put a drop in, it just kind of spreads out, which is kind of cool. And so this base isn't done, and that's what it would look like when you're finished painting. So guys, I mean, we're 15 minutes into the video. I mean, I can't, I don't know how to make it any faster, but turn on Starship Troopers and start knocking these out. If you're doing Roughnecks, you can get 2 or 3 of these done in a couple episodes. So and I highly recommend Roughnecks. It is a great show. Okay, that is the Arachnid Swarms, and again, very easy to do. The basing, I just use watered down Elmer's glue, or I use wood glue. That works really well. Water it down, put a thin layer, stick this guy in your sand if you use thin sand or more coarse sand. This is actually thin sand, and then this is a little more coarse because I ran out of thin sand. But again, here, let me show you a finished one with the thin sand. That guy's thin. You notice a little difference, but not a ton. And again, they're bugs, so it is what it is. I think it looks pretty good. Anyway, okay, let's wrap this up. All right, short video. Doesn't take a ton of time to paint these guys up. I know I'd seen some questions out there of like, hey, you show In his rule book, Crow, he does a step-by-step on how he paints his 6mm MI. A lot of detail. I didn't want to spend that much time on each model, but his look fantastic. So if you are part of his Patreon and you download that rulebook, you'll see what I'm talking about. They look really, really good. I'm going for speed and 3-foot tabletop distance. So guys, I hope this helps. Please like, subscribe. It really helps, and lets me know if people are enjoying these videos. Drop me a comment. Oh, you want to see something? Let me put this back over here before I go. Show you a size difference, just so you can kind of compare. There's your Arachnid. That's your Arachnid Swarm to an MI Trooper. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's neat. I'm really excited to get to play this game. Yeah, very cool. Very, very accurate on the sizes. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Thanks for watching. I'm Sean. This is the Game Room. Please like, subscribe. Have a wonderful evening. God bless. Bye now.